Hey, y'all, welcome back to Who Knows Best. I'm your host, Cassie Bollinger, and tonight we're mixing it up. We're going to keep it light, laid back, and totally unstructured. There's no true topic tonight, just a good old chit chat with the crew, which some of them are delayed. We are just kind of in a blah mode. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just talk it out. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's see where the conversation takes us. So, I have Miss Jacqui Duran here, the Jacqui Duran here. So,
Yes.
I mean, I guess we kind of need to address like the big elephant in the room about like the blah because I'm
Well,
feeling it. It's I'm so bad feeling it.
yeah, I
Um,
am as well. I am as well. And I think I think maybe touched on this, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ways that I could explain this and be
I
very
think we talked about
positive
it being
about it. But
slow,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
don't think we really talked about blah of like the disconnect, the and it's not even frustration. I have the I don't care mode. Like that's where I'm at. And it's not that I'm not working.
Hmm.
I'm like I'm blindly doing the things I'm supposed to do, but there is no oh behind it. Like it is a
Yeah.
I don't care.
There's like no passion there.
No, there is no passion going on in my business right
So
now.
maybe the better question is, what do we do when we lose passion?
Maybe that yeah, or the fire or the drive.
Uh,
Because I honestly don't know. I mean, that's
yeah.
kind of where I'm at because I'm in the midst. So I'm in the middle.
Hmm.
I don't, like you gave me a really good actionable plan last week. You know where that plan's at? On my computer, on my little spreadsheet, or on my little thing. Yeah, that's where it's at. And I was going to do it today, and I got home from school, and I planted my butt in front of the TV, and I'm just exhausted. I'm
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you because and I kind of told you guys earlier today, like I don't know if it's just because I work night shift now, and which is great because I only work 3 nights a week, and that's great. And that's what I wanted, was a little bit to have a little bit of that open
time.
flexibility with my own
Yes.
personal schedule. Yeah. And so that was the reason that I did what I did, but at the same time I find myself not as motivated when I was working Monday through Friday, 7 to 4, 7 to 4:30, whatever it was. Like I would get home, I would have very structured. It was okay. Now I've got like an hour to do some business work. Then I'm gonna cook dinner, and then I'm gonna get the house clean, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna figure out, are there trainings or whatever we're doing tonight. And then I would kind of conclude my day. And it was
Maybe we
just,
don't have structure. Maybe
yeah.
we don't have the okay, because I'm not working this semester, so it's just school 2
Oh,
days a
see,
week.
yeah.
Um, and that's why, I mean, I got a scholarship to kinda
Mhm.
cushion the extra amount that I would be missing from it, but I don't have I mean, Tuesdays, I go to class, and my classes are not they're not exciting. I mean, they're not
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, I'm learning how to do" I'm not
Right.
learning anything like, I am, but I mean, like, I don't even know how to
You
explain it,
are,
like
but it's not something that's like setting a fire underneath you.
yes, yes. Like I have a speech class, so we're going over and I picked some topics, and then I chat GPT'd like topics because I was like, I don't know what to give a speech over because it's an informative, and of course Blake was like, well, do it about Cincy. Like, I really don't want to do my informative speech about Cincy. I might do it for my persuasion because I can talk about it for 4 to 6 minutes.
Yes.
But it's so much, I don't know if I could, so I'm like, I'm putting that on the back burner. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about sayings and where they came from. Sayings that are used today but were brought up long time ago. And the example I used in class because I asked her and I was like, when it says bite the bullet, it
Oh,
originally came during the civil or like the wars. It's not even civil war. It's just during some of the older wars, and it may not even been here in America as it could have been over in England. But soldiers, when they were going through surgery, they didn't have anesthesia, they didn't have lidocaine, they didn't have IVs. They literally had them bite on a bullet while they did it instead of like, a leather strap, and it's called bite the
Yeah.
bullet. Just
Yeah.
you gotta do it. Like, so,
Yeah.
and then my other class is the teacher talks about 20, 30 minutes into the class, and it's a 2.5 hour class, and then he's done. So I
Oh,
do what I do, and then I leave. Like,
okay.
he doesn't
Okay.
really do assignments. It's reading and doing these stupid quizzes, and
Yeah.
occasionally he'll throw in a project of like, "Hey, you have to do this programming code." And I'm like, "Cool." And I get it done in like 5 minutes, and then I have to go ask him, "Are we doing anything else?" Because I don't want him to throw in something after I've left because I may not understand what's going on. And that's it. Like, that's my day,
Exactly.
Tuesdays
Yeah.
and Thursdays.
Well, and I think with my work schedule, and I work in the emergency room, and I will say it has been very, very busy lately. And when an emergency room is busy, yes, it can be busy for, as you can probably imagine, you don't even have to be in the medical field, right? Like you can imagine what comes into the emergency room. But we have had a lot of very serious and very, very big things, right? Like that have rolled through. And so when you're in the middle of a shift and you're working and you're doing all the things, like you don't really think about it. But then when I'm on my way home in the morning, like that's all I can think about is, oh my gosh, what just happened? And I'm processing it. I'm kind of breaking down, because when you're in the middle of it, you are just working the problem. You're
Right.
not really associating, you're working the problem, you're getting done what you need to get done, and you're sending the patient to wherever they need to go. That's how it goes. And then, so on my way home is when I'm actually processing, oh my gosh, I cannot believe what just happened tonight.
Right.
And it's
Like, "Oh my
all
gosh,
that's
this accident or
okay.
this whatever or that."
Yeah. Like if that was me, if that was my family member, if that was somebody I knew, like, oh my, I can't imagine that this is what is
Right.
happening. And so then when I get home, I will usually, by that time it's like 5 in the morning. So I'm getting Justin ready for work. If I didn't make his lunch the night before, I'm trying to make his lunch. Madison's about to wake up to get ready for school. Like I'm trying to do all those things. And then after they both leave is when I then lay down and then I sleep. And sometimes when it's been a really crazy night, which lately it has been,
It's hard
it
to
is
fall
just,
asleep.
yes, I cannot sleep. So I'm completely like either tossing and turning, or I'm waking up after like 3 hours and then I'm like, well, shoot, I got to go back to
Up.
work tonight or whatever, right? Like my brain's on, I'm going, I can't stop. Let's just do the thing. But I don't feel completely there. And so a lot of it probably has to do with what I'm personally going through with all of that. But at the same time, I feel like my team in my business in and of itself is not necessarily like dialed in either.
And get
And
yeah.
so I have a disconnect from both ends, personally and team wise.
Well, and that's kind of where, like, my team, I send out text messages. I'm like, "Hey, you got on the board," and then I'll send out text messages when they get active. I went off of like shouting them out in a team page. I just decided to do it one on one because it's more or less is like I want them to know that I see, like I'm seeing you,
Yeah, I
and
see you. Yeah,
I'm
I did
I'm
that
get
today. In fact, in my email, I see you. That was the first word. Those are the first three words in the email. I see you. Because I
and
do. I see them.
right, and I think that. And that's been, like, the last couple of months, and maybe that's because I'm not shouting them out. Maybe there's no, like, I don't my team doesn't they're not really competitive because I used to be like, "Oh, if you do this, and then I'm gonna do," like, I tell them whenever I get paid at title, then I do, like, little giveaways, and it's never anything like, it's never Cincy. It's more or less is like, "Do you want, like, an Amazon gift card?" Or, and
Yeah.
I always give them the opportunity
I
because
always
sometimes.
want an Amazon gift card, by the
Right,
way.
because it could be bit for business supplies, or it could be just
Yes.
for personal, like, you earned, and they're never
Yeah.
big unless we've had a big month, and I always tell them, I was like, "I re you want to reward what you want to repeated." And I tried to change it up, and I never got a great response. Of course, some of them are like, "Oh, I didn't even know I won." And it's like, Yeah, I sent you the text message and I have their email addresses, so I send the Amazon gift card to their email address. I mean,
That's how I do mine. Yeah. I sent
it
him a note. Do you see
so
this, by the way?
yeah,
This is,
but
it's
I
a,
think that I'm also not having like I'm not engaged anywhere. Like I don't have I'm at home. I'm at home 95% of the time during the week. And like even our chat, our personal chat between the four of us, we are not talking.
Mhm.
And I'm like I'm
And
complete
to be completely honest and transparent, that's why I went back to, I mean, I had to go back to work. I needed, financially, we needed to go. I mean, the economy is the way it is, right? That I had to go back to work. But at the same time, I did Cincy full time for 3 years. I stepped away from the job that I had had for 3 years. I just did, that Cincy was my full time job.
right.
And yes, a part of it was during COVID, so that was a different
It
that
was
was a
different.
whole
Well, and we had a
thing in
lot
and
of
of
stuff
itself.
going on then too, because when you first
Yeah,
like I met you like right after or right before you start working from home full time.
probably right before is my guess,
Okay, because
maybe.
it was 2021.
Yeah, because I started
I
working
met you
from
like I can't remember. I want to.
I started working from home December of 2019.
Oh, well, then it was that I met you after.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah,
yeah.
it was definitely after because I met you in 2021. So that was like,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
thought it
know
was
it feels like
2020.
forever.
I know, it seems like 2020, but maybe not.
Yeah, so I met you because in 2020 I joined in May, and I don't think well, maybe it was 2020. Gosh, I don't remember because
Because
we watched.
whenever we went to Branson.
Yeah, and it was during an SFR because that was the whole reason is weird. So maybe I'd only been with the company 3 months. That can't be
Yeah.
right.
You know, I remember you were green, like you had just literally started.
Okay.
I remember
Well,
that.
then it was 20. Okay. So you would, yeah, I don't know. But I'm like, I have director boot camp coming up, and I'm really excited. I found out who my
You're
roommate
gonna
was.
have so much fun. You have no idea, by the
But
way. You
see,
have
I'm
no
not,
idea how much fun this is gonna be. It's amazing.
I know, but when I stop and think about it, like, I'm not like,
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because for one, you are not the only person who is not a director going. It
oh,
would
I
be
know. No,
different.
the
Okay.
girl that I'm rooming with,
Mhm.
she is also an SSC who had lost her
I
title.
will tell you this too. I hit director in 2018. I went to boot camp. I think it had to have been 2019. Anyway, I went to the very next boot camp, which after I think it was early 2019, because it was
Yeah, because they
right
do them
after
twice a
I had
year,
promoted.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they do it like the spring and the fall, whatever. And I had gone in that spring, and honestly, when I was at boot camp, I was actually in DQ
Okay.
because my team I wasn't it wasn't like I was really quite ready, like my team wasn't quite doing what I needed them to do, but I had just done well, my team had done well, we'd promoted, it was a whole thing, so I the whole thing. And then I was a new director and I didn't know what to do. So when I was at boot camp, I had imposter syndrome like you would not believe, because for me, I've been doing I wasn't as new as you are, right? Like I've been doing this since 2012.
Right.
It took me a long time to get to director. And
Right.
then when I finally hit director, within that first 3 months, I was already in DQ. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, this was obviously a fluke that I
It
hit
was a
like that
mistake.
was
Yeah.
all in my head. And so there I am at boot
We
camp, and here I
accidentally
am.
hit there.
Yeah, I'm here in boot camp. I have this whole thing of imposter syndrome. Like, I don't really belong here. What am I doing? Like, all these people seem like they have it all together. I do not. I'm still trying to figure out what it even means to be a director. I didn't have support from my sponsor, so I didn't have anybody I could like ask questions. It was blind. It was a whole thing. And when I was at boot camp, it was in the spring, because I remember it was like April 30th, and then like the next day, whatever. It was the first of the month, the next day, whatever it was that I was there. And we had literally just made director numbers like by maybe $10.
Oh,
Like
wow.
PRV, right? Like it was barely.
So then it
But I
starts
did.
over your
but I did, right? So I was like, oh, so I'm no longer in DQ. I'm officially a director again. I've got 3 more months to try and hit
Keep
pay
it
to
there.
title. Okay. Oh my gosh. I remember that night, like we were sitting, and when you're at boot camp, you will know, because the lobby is the place to be after
Okay.
hours. Everybody sits around and you're doing the whole thing and round table. And I remember like sitting there, like looking at my little phone, and I'm screaming. I'm like, oh my gosh, we hit numbers. I actually did it. I requalified for director. Everybody was excited. They were cheering me on. It was a whole thing. And it wasn't until that point, we'd already been there like one night, maybe a night and a half. And I was like, oh, now I'm in the right headspace
Right.
to all of this in, because I feel like I belong.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, up until that point, looking back on it, even though I was DQ, which is essentially a superstar consultant, let's be honest, that's what it
Right.
is.
That's
That's
yeah,
what DQ is.
exactly.
Okay. Even though I felt like I didn't belong, I belonged. And let me tell you, the people that I was in boot camp, because I did boot camp 40, I'm boot camp 40.
Ooh,
So
I'll be 52.
see, so there you go. Okay, you're gonna always remember that. I was boot camp 40. Um, but I still remember, like I look back and there's relationships that I've built with those people that I was in boot camp with. And I look back and a lot of them are not with Sensi. A lot of them have dropped down to SSC. A lot of them have dropped down to certified consultant because like they lost team over the
Yeah.
years, like all the things have happened. Some of them have moved on. They're SAR directors. I don't know if we've got any super SAR directors yet, but anyway, they're growing in their business. But when I look back at it, I'm like, we were all going through the same thing, just at different times in our journey. So you're going to make connections, even though you may have the imposter syndrome, like you said, like you're like, I'm not a director. Okay.
Yeah.
Title
Well, I
doesn't
thought it was
mean
an error.
anything.
Like, because remember, I test,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, don't worry about it. They'll, it's probably just something a fluke." And so I emailed back, and
Yeah.
Sarah had responded and was like, "No, we went through," and I mean, I'm not going to downgrade this, but I am going to say they
Don't.
said they didn't have enough people, so
Yeah.
they wanted to pull anybody who was still at SSC that never got a chance to go to director boot camp. And
Yes.
so they wanted to reach back out because we did have that close down for a year and a half that we weren't that they shut down because I was supposed to go to Cabo because that was where the director what leadership thing was at. I can't remember. Um then I'm at director boot camp, then they're like, "Oh, you can go to the next one." And I was like, but then I'd lost my title. And so
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh," and I really think that for the longest time I've really been sitting here with this whole I didn't get my full opportunity.
Yeah.
But, you and I have talked about this many times. It wasn't always about that it wasn't my time. Because if I had stayed at director without ever having to get back to the basics because there was no basics. I mean, I started in 3 days, I had like $1,600 in sales. 3 days. And
It's
it was
insane.
literally just I did it from sun up to sundown. The minute I got up, it was like getting up at 7 o'clock and I was making my amaretto hot chocolate because that's what I was doing then. And I was drinking my Jack and Cokes during the day. I mean, like I was 3 or 4 until I was like, I'm ready to pass out. Like that's what my days were in the very, very beginning when I decided I was going to do this because I wasn't getting another job and I didn't want to go work for one place that was going to make me have to take a shot, or I didn't want to have to go and work fast food because there was so many at the time. It was basically you were there and then it was um like a porch pickup or not porch pickup, but it was a
Oh,
curbside service.
yes.
They
Yes.
opened the curbside service part.
Yes.
I didn't want to do fast food. Like I was like, I gotta make a go of this. I mean, it was the only thing. And it's just so funny looking back and, figuring out like what my why was then and what my why
Yeah.
is now. And it's not the same. It changes. It changes all the time. Whys will never stay the same. I mean, I don't have to support my family um because it's not like I guess we've dialed back so much. There's not a lot of support that we need. Like, we don't have credit cards. My car's
Yeah.
now paid off. I mean, that was my biggest thing, was for a while there was just to pay, I wasn't getting the huge sales, but I was paying my car, and my car
Mm-hmm.
got paid off, and income disclosure will be added,
Yeah.
but it was paying my car payment. But I'm not, my customers are not engaging, my team's not engaging, and we as a group are not engaging like we used to, but I think we're all in that blah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
And
it's the
maybe
weather.
I look at it a couple of different ways because I'm like, is it just this time of year, right? Like Robin specifically in our group, right? Like she's got kids and they're all in activities and they're all back to school and all of that's going on. So I'm like, okay, if it's going on for one of my best friends, I'm sure that it's going on with my customers too, right?
Right,
Like
and there's
I'm
football
sure there's a
now, and
lot going on and
graduation for
football, yeah,
seniors, or
all
everybody's
those
in the
things
full
are
senior mode.
happening. Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
I
I'm like,
don't have
just the
any, like,
season? I don't know.
I don't know. I know that, like, last month, I think I did so well
Mhm.
that I'm having that comparison.
Personally or team wise?
No, personally, the team,
Yeah.
we didn't, I mean, the team did great. I mean,
Mhm.
the team does what they do every month. Like,
Yeah.
they don't do more. There's a couple of times it does less, but the team is very consistent with the ones who are working their business. They're
Yeah.
always consistent. Um, but I don't, our numbers are not, like, I have not gotten paid at SSC, and I've had it once this year. So I'm actually only getting paid at Star.
Yeah.
And we hit Star numbers every month. I think there's only been 1 month in the last 2 years that I didn't even hit Star. I think I literally was at lead, but it was just that was my lowest PRV month. And it was like
Yeah.
7 something. And I was so mad at myself, but I'm comparing myself to last month because it's like it was just a month ago. It's not like I'm comparing myself to 2020. I'm not comparing myself.
Right.
And I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I changed one of my podcasts, and
Yeah.
then I don't know if, like, I went to a different, not podcast, audiobooks. So I went to a
Oh,
different
okay.
audiobook, and it's really good. It dives into certain things, and a lot of them are not necessarily like direct sales. It's just kind of, sometimes it's
I'm
more
so
like
sorry. Do you hear him snoring,
too. No,
Joe? Okay. It's
the
really loud
microphone. No,
to me. I'm like, God, is it coming across the microphone? Okay, sorry.
yeah, no, it's not coming across the microphone.
Okay, good.
So it's, I don't know if that change, I don't know. Like, I try to analyze everything. It's like,
I
is
do
it is there
too.
something
Yeah,
I've changed?
I
I
do
know
too.
that,
I look at the big picture, like, how can
right.
I diagnose this? What's happened?
Right.
What's what?
It's like, am I eating something different? Like,
Yeah.
am I not, like, I don't have the energy. I'm tired. I'm like, I feel like I'm exhausted, but last month I was so busy. 7 or 5 parties. I did 5 parties.
It
I
was
had
crazy for you.
school
Yeah.
starting, and
Yeah.
it was crazy. It was so busy, and I've followed up with everybody.
Hmm.
And I've sent out 3 emails since the beginning of last month. So last month they got 1 email. This month they've gotten 2 because I haven't gotten any responses.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like, okay, so I sent all those text message. I've only gotten 1 no. Like, I haven't gotten anything other than no, I'm too
You what
busy.
we talked about though?
Huh?
Do you remember what we talked about? About trying to reach out on more of a personal
Yes,
versus
yes,
sales?
yes. And like I
Any
said,
different?
it's been sitting there since last week.
Okay. Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I'm just,
Okay.
it's kind
Yeah.
of like, I still have it. I mean, it's still in my little, I do a little notepad, and I start new
Mhm.
things, and I'll type stuff down, because especially
Yeah,
not,
that's what I keep it in my notes section on my phone of things that yeah, like those
like, just
things.
stuff to do. So I
Yeah.
have that. I'm gonna do the
Okay.
rack card. I just
Yeah.
haven't had the want to. I haven't had the, like, let's mail something out.
Mhm.
And, like, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really so blah. It's not, like, it's not depression. Like, I'm not sad. I just feel like I
Yeah.
have no want to. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, and I'm the same way because like you said, like you are I overthink, overanalyze
Yep.
everything. And I'm the same way. I'm in the same boat where I don't feel like I have the passion. It's not like I've given up, but I just don't feel like I have that drive and motivation that I normally do. But I've got my work schedule is crazy. My work in itself is crazy. Um, I've got my son having a baby. I've got my sister having a baby. I'm throwing a baby shower. I've got
You've
Madison
had a
and
lot of focus everywhere else.
yeah, everything is going on. We got the new dog, so it's been a whole thing there. And then like when I am off, it's trying to make sure when I'm not working, it's trying to make sure that like today it was all laundry and vacuuming and dusting and cleaning and all the things I didn't get to over the weekend because I worked all weekend long. And then I was tired. And then I'm like, oh, how do I get out of this cycle? And how do I break this? And so I'm kind of in that boat of how do I get myself out of this? And I don't know. I mean, before it used to be just filling my cup and sometimes that would be videos, sometimes it would
I feel like I
be
lost my cup. Like,
yeah.
does that make sense? Like, it's not that it's not
Where
full.
is my cup?
It's
Yeah.
like maybe that's what it is that it's like, okay, last month it was all about it was the beginning of the incentive.
Yeah.
And then I got 2 new teenies. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because I know, I mean, I've been on the trip, so I know it is doable. No matter what it is, however the points lay out, it is doable. And then I think I hit like a wall after the first week. I mean, like our PRV, our GWV hasn't moved in 2 weeks. And I
Yeah.
don't judge that on like it's me as well. I don't have any more Cincy clubs coming through because I have about 500 in Cincy clubs on
Mm-hmm.
a good month. On the bad month, it's like 280. So I always hit at least partial of my mark. I got the scent warmer of the month, and then it's kind of like that's it. I mean, the posts that I have on my business page aren't getting any reactions. But I have also been focused on TikTok. Like I'm trying to figure
Now
TikTok.
on TikTok, are you doing more personal or are you doing business?
I'm doing like I am like 3 or 4 times a day. It is personal. Like I do the stuff I'm seeing across, the mimicking of or the sound, the lip saying or the
Yeah, the
it's
lip
not lip
syncing.
singing,
Yeah.
but it's like, I follow just, you know,
Yeah.
I'm doing some of those. I when I walk to school, I am actually recording my feet as I'm walking because it's just
Oh, I've seen a couple of those. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just, and I just have music playing now. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about doing some voiceovers, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff that's not Cincy, and then I'll get on like I did one with the new Cincy Air. So like
Mm.
I popped it up. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so
I need
cool.
to get one. I
It
need to get one.
like look here. So you haven't really seen it, but I can
No. I mean,
like
I've seen it because I saw it at
so
SFR, like
come on.
not
So it's a very simple. I guess what I didn't realize is that it
like a
has the
diffuser,
light, huh?
like a diffuser button,
It's
like
the
all of
diffuser buttons. It's all of
yeah.
them. So, but this has
Yeah.
low, medium, high.
Mm-hmm.
Then it has the 2, 4, and 8 hour timers. And
Okay.
then the light. So if you click the light once, it's the candle flicker.
Oh,
You
like
click
the
it again.
diffusers.
Yeah.
Okay.
You click it again, it goes through the rainbow.
Okay.
If you click it
Okay.
again, it goes to the solid colors. But it
Okay.
will almost kind of cycle back to the candle flicker. And then
Mm-hmm.
it does a solid colors where it just stay that one color.
Yeah.
And I did a real quick, I did it. So I think because I am more focused and I try not to just like I try not to get in TikTok the pit. I try not to get through the
Oh,
pit
I've
or the
fallen down the
tunnel,
black hole of TikTok. I don't even know how many times. At least
but
once.
I try not to because if I notice I'm just kind of like randomly going through and I'm like, nope. If I'm going to be on here, I need to engage. If I want to grow, because I
Yeah.
want to be able to go
Smart.
live.
That's
I
smart.
want to. I mean, that's my goal. So I'm trying to get up to the 500 followers. You have to have 500 followers before you can go live. Because I want another platform to go live. Because I can go live on Facebook, I can go live on Instagram, I can do the live on TikTok or on YouTube, I can do
I
the
was gonna say,
shorts,
yeah.
like so I'm trying to open up something. So it's kind of giving me a little goal. And I've jumped up quite a bit. I'm at like 450. Like I am so freaking close. And so I'm like, I need to engage a little bit more. I need to, and I need to interact because on TikTok it was never about engaging.
Mm.
But I think because now that I'm not engaging on Facebook as much, because now my scroll time is on TikTok, maybe that's something, like I'm learning something new. So if I want to self-analyze myself, maybe it's because my focus hasn't been on my business page. And
Because is your audience from Facebook or your customer base? Is that Facebook focused or no? Because
like, what do you
mine
mean?
is not. Like I have my VIP group and I've got a handful of customers who are very active in my VIP. That when I post in there, like they'll comment, they'll do the thing, they're doing all the bells and whistles. It's great. But even like on my personal page, even though I do post some a lot probably of Scentsy with me in general, like I don't really see a lot of interaction there.
Well, I
So
got rid of my VIP because it got to the point where it was crickets. It
so
didn't
that's what I'm
matter.
saying. Like, is your when you get sales, like if you have, let's say you have 3 PWS sales a month,
It's from my zip code.
out of those 3, what, okay,
Yeah,
so they're
they're
probably not
people I
finding you
don't
from
know.
Facebook,
Yeah, so it's
they're
not.
finding you from like the consultant finder
Yes,
probably.
because
Okay.
I am the only consultant that is a lead or higher
Mhm.
in about a 15 to 20-mile radius in
Nice.
DFW. So it's a very good,
That's
like the
nice.
closest,
Okay.
yes, the closest one is like the north side of Arlington, which is, I don't know how, like, but we're talking like a good 30, 40 miles
Mhm.
is the closest one. Now, again, all I can do is zip code. I don't know like where exactly they're at in that zip code,
Mhm.
and our zip codes are kind of small in certain areas because we have a lot in
Texas.
this in DFW, Tarrant County. And then the next one is like Burleson, which is on the other side. So like I have a huge radius that it's just me. So I do get, I think last month I had 13 PWS from just the consult finder because it just comes up Cincy.com.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I reach out to all of them and they're on my texting list of, hey, this is what's coming out.
Mm.
This is what's going on because I do them more as professional because I don't know them personally. I don't know if I bought makeup from somebody, if they start being like, so, how's your cat? Or like, do you have pets? Or do you like, I don't know how personal I get with somebody. I don't I don't know him from a friend of a friend. So it's not like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm Jackie's friend. And, you know,
Yeah.
we could, because that's kind of how you start with friendships. Is like, I was like, oh, well, did you hear that, Jackie's having a new grandson or a
Mhm.
granddaughter? And like, you kind of go through that when you meet someone new, but when you meet them just blindly,
Yeah.
you don't really have that. You don't have any common ground. You don't know where common ground is. And I am so awkward when I meet new people. I don't
I
know.
do too.
Like I'm as bad as like, so how's the weather where you're at? Like, how about them Cowboys? Like I don't know what to say. Like, oh, you hate football? I'm so sorry. How about the Rangers? Like I have my Texas Rangers. Like that's just kind of like I don't do shit. Like I don't
Yeah.
know how to have the small talk.
I'm awkward too. So
I,
that's why I did my whole video is are you shy? You just literally you like drop and go. Like that's my method. That is my tried and true method. When I'm out and about in the world, right? Peopling, like I will literally drop samples and run away. Like
yeah,
boom, there you go. Bye.
yeah, it's kind of,
Out.
yeah. It's like the ding dong dash or whatever, where it's like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna knock
Yeah.
on the door and I'm running off. Like,
Done.
I don't want to see your face. But yeah, it's not that business is bad. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
I'm sitting at like 11 something for the
Yeah.
month. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not bad business. I just I guess I really thought after last month of booking all those parties that I was
Mhm.
going to be able to book all these parties this month, but my customers weren't used to it. I think they were like, "Oh, sure, I'll do a sure." Like I
Yeah.
didn't know what to say, and then it just never did. Like, and I'm new at them, so I'm not good at like, okay, let's rebook in the middle of the party. I
Yeah.
told so I talked to them all afterwards, and of course that whole enthusiasm and fire is gone.
Hmm.
Um, but I think because I haven't fully done all my fall stuff yet, like I haven't even finished doing like cutting out my stickers because I'm cutting stickers,
Yeah.
putting them in bags, and I haven't really done that. Like I haven't fully immersed myself, and maybe
Yeah.
that's I don't know. So my cup's missing.
Yeah.
Your cup's missing.
Yeah.
You got to find her cup.
I know. I just feel so discombobulated. I feel like I'm all over the place. And like I said, maybe it's part of my work schedule right now and work itself and the family, everything going on. I don't know, but I feel out of sorts. Even though
Well,
I do try and stick to my schedule. I do try and stick to my regimen but I can tell you right now, I'm not doing 100%. I totally am not.
yeah. And we don't have a lot of releases because we had major catalog releases, so we
Yeah.
don't have a lot of those LTOs. And we've talked about this before, even on our podcast, that you don't need to dwell on the LTOs, but I think those seem to get me engaged.
Excited.
And so I'm
Yes.
like,
Yes.
because they're like,
That's what I
oh,
was just about to say because I'm the same way. Like I don't focus my business on LTOs and yes, I have sales from LTOs, but like I am not very LTO driven per
I mean, I
se.
just post it
But
because my whole thing is
yes,
that I'd
I
rather
post
post it and
everything.
have no one
Yeah,
comment than have me not post it and they buy it from someone else because they
right.
didn't know that
I
I
at
had it as
least want
well.
people to know what is coming out, when it's coming out, decide what you want. There it is, right? We're very similar in that way, but we don't have a lot of that either. So maybe it's because I'm just not excited in general.
Because I
Oh,
think
we have a new catalog. We've got
well,
the
we were
hard, like, I'm
excited
like,
back at SFR when we got to see them. So that's the other
yeah.
thing. Going to SFR and getting to see everything is amazing. It's so much fun. But then whenever it releases, it's kind of like I already know
Mhm.
about them. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
yeah, like the Cincy Air. I saw it. I
Mhm.
saw it working. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I just kind of was like, that's cool. And I went on and I got it. And I'm like, I really do like it.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to be more of a pod person
Mhm.
because I I don't know. It's like I have so much wax that I mean, like I'm a wax hoarder. I love me some Scentsy wax, and I have all different ones. But
Yeah.
some of them, I started realizing that they've sat for years because I had so much, and they don't have the scent throw. And so I'm
Yeah.
trying to go through it. Like I'm doing more wax than I normally do, just because it's kind of like I want to go through it.
Yeah.
But then I don't even change out my wax, and I'm like, I think it's been like honestly, I think it's been about a week and a half since I've done it.
Oh,
And I
no.
think that's I need to change out my wax. I think maybe if I get a
Yeah.
new scent in here,
I did mine today. Like yeah, because I have to work tomorrow. So I was like, all right, Wednesday's not gonna happen. Because normally for Wednesdays and Saturdays are usually like my wax
right?
days. But I knew I was gonna have to work tomorrow and I was like, all right, I'm already cleaning the house, doing everything else. I'm just gonna change the wax today. And so I
Well,
went
and
in.
I'm also waiting on the big cotton cleanups to come back. I only have 4 packages left, and I'm kind of like, okay, if I split this
Only,
up, I only have so many. And you know,
only.
I love that they gave us the small ones, but I didn't realize when they did the small ones how like I guess I just didn't see the concept of a smaller cotton cleanup to fit into the mini ones. Then there's a less amount of
See, that's the thing. Like, I really wasn't excited about the mini cotton cleanups because the majority of my warmers are all full size warmers. Like, I only have like maybe two in my entire house that are the mini warmers that I actually change out the wax. The other ones are just for show. They're just out because they're out. I got grandbabies, I got dogs. I don't want wax in a warmer that's like at my shin level, right? Like
right,
I just
right.
don't. But I have other ones that are like on the tabletop, whatever, and I use those and those are great, but those are the only ones that I actually change that wax in. So for me, the mini cotton cleanups wasn't a huge deal. Like I didn't really care if we had them or didn't, because I would just I use cotton balls for
Uh,
those. I
and
still
see,
do.
yeah,
I
I
still
mean,
do.
and honestly, it's just I use paper towels before I started with the cotton
I
cleanups.
do that too.
But I
Yeah. Quickly
stocked up
wax.
on cotton cleanups because during 2020 and 2021, there was times
Mhm.
that they were out of stock, and you could only get them if you had them in Scentsy Club. And
Yeah.
I stockpiled because then people were wanting to buy them, but they didn't want to start a Scentsy Club. And I was like,
Mhm.
well, it's still $10, or at that time, I think it was $8 to ship. I think it was the sliding scale. It was
Mhm.
$8 up until $80, and then it was 10%. So I would just charge them the $8 on shipping, or if it was less, or if
Yeah.
they were local, they could come pick them up. But and it just dawned on me, Amber's not here. She's at college.
Oh.
So I think maybe it's not depression, maybe I am lonely because at least when she was here during the summer, she'd work on the weekends, and Blake's days off are random because he works at a retail shop. So there's always the same schedule. Like his hours that he works are always the same. So he's always home
That's
about
how mine is. My hours are
yeah,
the same, but my days off are
right.
like, it doesn't matter.
So
It
he's
could be
home at
Sunday
two
or
o'clock on
Thursday.
every day except for
Yeah,
Sunday if he
yeah.
has to work it. But I think maybe that's what it is that Amber's not here. So maybe I am is maybe it's the lonely part that I'm coming that maybe is the big part of it is that I feel alone because there's not many, I don't talk to anybody.
Well, and the one thing that I can equate all of this to is that I think the four of us specifically, and maybe others out there that can relate to what we've been talking about tonight, change is going to happen. Change is inevitable. Things are going to shift and pivot and move and flow throughout your business and throughout your personal life and all of the things. But at the end of the day, our constant is still the fact that we have not only a community, but we have our business.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of team members who will come in and I want to say in and out of the business, right? Like
Yeah.
there will be months on end where they are
Spurts
like
where they just
all
come
in,
in and
all in, all in, all in, all in, and then it's nothing for months.
yeah.
But then they're all in, all in, all in again. And again, I have to remember that while this business for me, yes, this business helps to pay our house payment every single month, right? That's what I've built this to become. That's why I do what I do. But for a lot of people, it maybe isn't that yet. It's something completely different. So,
Well, and see, my paycheck, even though I have a team, my paycheck is driven off of my PRV
mhm,
because of where we're at.
mhm,
And because the amount of people I have underneath of me.
yeah,
It went from 74 and now I think we have a team of 26.
mhm,
We dropped two off, but then we got two more. So it dropped from 24, then it back up to 26. And
yeah,
so I think my other part is that because I don't have the teamies I had in the beginning were like my friends. Those were the people that,
oh,
they signed up because they knew me because of course the people you ask first are the people that you know. I'm not gonna, and in the very beginning when you start your business, I don't walk up to total strangers and like, hey, you want to start a Scentsy business? I mean, I probably would now, not I mean, I don't have a problem with
I
talking
know. I
about it
still,
either.
nope,
But
I'm too awkward to do that. I don't do that.
I mean, I talk like anytime that someone has a question about it, I always offer the opportunity. If they
Oh,
talk
yeah,
if
yeah,
they if I have my Cincy shirt on or my backpack and they say something about it, I'm always like, "You could do if I can do this, you can do this." Like,
mhm,
especially if it's somebody who is very I was he's just so cute. If it's somebody who I know or I can kinda tell that like, they're very tech savvy and, like or if they're younger that I know is, like, on Instagram or I know that it's gonna have some kinda social media because you can just kinda tell. That
mhm,
makes sense? Like, I would say
yeah,
I would call them teeny boppers, but they're not teeny boppers. I mean, teeny boppers are real would be like your daughter is technically
yeah,
a teeny bopper because she's in the
yeah,
teen. But I call them
yeah.
teeny boppers now because 'cause I'm 45, so those 20-year-olds are teeny boppers to me. They're those youngins, and I'm at school with them. I'm in this class. I mean, there's only one other guy that's in the class that I think is over the age of 30.
Oh,
And other than that, all of these other kids are like I'm old enough to be their mom.
mhm.
All of the class now my programming class, that's a little bit different because we do have some older students in there. So I don't talk to them because we're
I have nurses that I work with who are like 23 years old. My oldest daughter is 27. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
our
I'm
oldest is
sitting
27
next to
too.
a nurse who's 23 and she's talking about how her and her boyfriend want to buy a house. And I'm just like,
You can buy a house? Like I mean like what does he do?
what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. Well, and
Oh.
so in my speech class, there's one of these girls in there, and she's talking like she's wanting to get her master's degree and everything, and that
Mhm,
she already has a house,
mhm.
and like and so, it's improper, or at least the way I was raised. You don't ask them, well, how much money, like, do you come from
Yeah.
money?
No.
Because I'm trying to figure out how can you be a full time student? You're wanting to go. I mean, I understand we're over at the junior college, so it is or community college.
Mhm.
It's so I understand that a lot of people go, our school is a big feeder school, so it will go almost all of the
How
basic.
my college is
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
will transfer
Yeah.
to almost any
Yeah.
college,
People
especially
do
in
like
Texas.
their 2 years here and then go to the 4-year
Right,
university
because
to
that
finish up.
it's just
Yeah,
bottom line, it's cheaper. And
it
the
is.
education
Yes.
is not gonna be any different. You just have smaller classes and you have
Amen.
more one-on-one.
Yeah.
And but it's kind of like I'm sitting there going like, how old are you? Like, I didn't wanna do my master's, but I had a baby. Like, my kid was 5 by the time,
Yeah.
like your age.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I have that it's like I almost have imposter syndrome at school because it was
Yeah.
different last semester. There was older kids in there. The speech class is speech 101, basically. This is a beginner's class that almost every single degree
Everybody
has
has
to
to
have.
take. Yes.
And I'm like my other
The
classes I'm fine with.
requirement. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
I'm so out of my element in this class because I'm the old woman in class.
Oh, shut up. No,
I am
trust me.
Jacqui, it would be like you being surrounded by a
I am in
20-year-old.
nursing school. Do you know, again, these girls that I'm in nursing school with are like 21, 20. Okay, I'm 46.
I mean, by the time I was 25, I had 2 kids,
46.
but you know what? This
I
is how but we
know.
got our kids out of the way before we decided on what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, out of the way. I mean, you still have one at home, but it's
Alyssa and I had that discussion tonight, actually.
yeah.
We were talking
Like,
about that, my oldest. We were talking
I
about that.
honestly would not have changed it. I would not have wanted to go and get a degree first and then have kids later
Yeah.
on in life. Like, I'm actually, this is probably the first time that I can honestly say that I'm so glad my kids are older and that I'm only
Mhm.
45 and I don't have kids at home. Like, I don't have babies. I mean, we have our grandson's coming in this weekend. But I don't have babies. I'm not doing
Yeah.
the daycare. I'm not doing diapers. I'm not doing formula. We're
Mhm.
not up all night. And but I really
I
think that
do
I mean,
diapers and babies when I want to, right? Like when they come over is when I
yeah,
do
but that's a
the
different
babies. Like
okay, so
that's
there's
different,
a
right?
different and
Yeah.
I mean, you and I are
Yeah.
probably the only because we're the
Yes.
only ones with grandkids.
Yeah.
You know that it is a whole different mindset when that
Yes.
grandbaby is because it doesn't
Oh, I'll
matter
change a diaper all day, but if that was
all day
my kid,
long.
I'd been
All
like,
day
oh.
I will be like, if I need well, I mean, my grandson's almost 3, so he's not in diapers, he's, like, in pull-ups, but I
Mm,
wouldn't change his I mean, I wouldn't need to change his diaper.
yeah.
But I'm like, "Oh, you wanna just sit there and play? What do you wanna play with? Like, let's pull out everything, everything." As a parent and having 2 kids, it's like, "No, you pull out 1 item and you play with it, and when you're done, you put it back up. That
That's
item
the
goes
thing.
back
No,
up."
wait, when Ricky comes over, the first thing I do, because our coffee table has drawers, and the drawers are all dedicated to toys. So there's his building blocks in one, and there's all of his little animals and his books in the other, and all of his little like as soon as he comes over, all I do is I go over very first thing I do is I come over and I open up the drawers. Here
Huh?
you go, grandma's open for business. Let's go. And that's it. Like my focus is totally on that. Like whatever you want to do, honey. And
Whatever
now
you
he's
wanna do.
starting to talk. And now he'll say thank you and please and like he'll say all these things.
Because he's what, 2?
He'll be 2 November 30th.
Okay.
And like even tonight, I was like, just say grandma. Just say grandma.
Oh, he doesn't say it
Say
yet?
grandma. Not yet. But he says all the other things. He's talking all the other things. And I'm like, oh honey, you just say grandma. And it's all over. Because all you have to say is grandma, I want.
What about well,
And
maybe
grandma
okay,
gonna run out and go get it. Okay?
okay, so
Like that's it.
grandma is hard to say. G's are hard to say.
Yeah.
And you notice that, if they just say like pawpaw and it's not like daddy, so oh, it's grandpa
No,
because it's
see, and
grandpa.
Justin's grandpa, but like he laughs at grandpa, he mimics grandpa, he does all the things. He just can't say grandpa, he can't say grandma yet, but it'll come. It's
It'll
fine.
come. Yeah,
But
well,
I keep teasing Alyssa and I'm like, honey, as soon as he says grandma, as soon as those words come out of his mouth,
yeah,
I don't care what he asks for. He could ask
yeah,
for a
a horse.
Mustang. And I'm gonna be like, grandma, gonna
Let's
go
go.
get that for you
Yeah.
right now. I'm gonna go. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Well, and it's like when my okay,
But for
so
my kids, no.
they FaceTimed me and he said out of his little mouth, and he was like, Granny. And I was like, "Oh, baby, what do you need? What do you want? What is it? What?" And I cried. I sat there and started crying because I was
Yeah,
like, because Blake's Pawpaw. And so
yeah,
Pawpaw came really fast. And they live with their in-laws. And so it is easier, like he knows what to call them the other grandparents, because they're around 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, and but he was saying Papa really early. It's just kind of like he said dad at first. Even though Bailey was home with him all the time, and it was always like, mama, 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 mama. And
Mhm.
daddy is just an easy word for their mouths to do.
It is. It
And
really is.
but you know what? I think it just kind of like dawned on me. Our why, I honestly think our why is because we want during the
Okay.
summer, we want to be able to have our grandson here during the
Go
summer
potty.
while he's not in school, and he could come stay with Granny and Pawpaw. And that
Yeah.
way, if Blake's working or not, depending, I don't know what age he's going to get to come stay, but we're waiting, we're waiting. But that way, Blake and him could go fishing, and they could go do, guy things, and then he could come in there with me, and we could do a Scentsy order because we're gonna get some good smelling stuff ready. I'm ready for me to have a new face in my business, you know.
Come on, Nacho.
So it's but yeah, I mean that's going to be my new why as soon as we get to
Yeah.
that point of him old enough to come and stay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and I do want to do school because I want to be able to work on projects. I do want to, get my degree so I can work on like here's the job, we need it done in 6 months. Okay.
Yeah.
We need or it's a project line. That's kind of really what I want to do because I don't want to do the in the office.
Yeah.
And I know I'm losing that connection, and I know I need to have a hobby. I honestly need to have a hobby because I don't have kids in school and they're not in sports, so I don't get to see other
Mhm.
moms. I need to find like a empty nesters group that of ladies or something that does something that we can chat about and talk about, and I can be interactive and be social and leave the house.
Yeah. Now, would it be different if you had other consultants who were Scentsy that you could go do things with?
If I have them local, I
That's what I
haven't
mean.
I mean, because I can't find them
Like
on I can't find them on um the
consultant
locator
finder.
because the closest one is like the zip code itself is 30 minutes away.
Mhm.
And so they're not local. I mean, I don't mind driving or meeting up, but then it's almost kind of like, where are we going to meet?
Yeah.
It's like, or if we're just chatting about Cincy, are we doing a dinner once a week or once a
Yeah.
month or whatever? Um, because it's not like my house is big enough to house people to come over and like, let's do a whole thing because we don't have great parking. That's why I don't have parties at home. I don't do a home party because there's no street curb. It is a there's a culvert and there's a drop off. So they would have to park down at the park and walk this way. And,
Yeah.
you know, I can't have them park unless I ask all my neighbors, hey, can I use up your parking spots for 3 hours? And we'd have to move our extra, like move Blake's truck down the street or whatever, and then in my car, and then just that way it's open. I don't know. So,
Hmm.
like I said, it's kind of why I'm just in the weird transition, and I think it's because I'm lonely. I think it's because I'm not having those conversations with Amber's not here. Blake goes to bed so early,
Yeah.
and since we are all kind of in a little bit of
Yeah.
a funk, we don't have those conversations. Like I almost got into like I've been debating for almost I don't know, it's been a while. I'm just jumping into the direct one of the director groups that I'm still in. Thank God they still have me there. Please don't kick me out if you see this. Um, but I it's just kind of being like, who wants to chat? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily have to be about Cincy, but I don't want to bug you. And I know your schedule is
Yeah.
different than, you know, Lisa's up really early considering that she's on a
Oh,
different
you could
time zone.
text me at like 2 in the morning. I'm there.
Late night, I know I can message on there and I could get a hold of you, but I'm saying like,
Even when I'm at work, I might be busy for a hot second, but at least when I do get 5 minutes, I'm like,
yeah. So
and then I'm gone for like an hour, but at least I'm there for a hot second.
but see, it's kind of like, and I know that Lisa's on, you know, she's up late our time because she's in a
Mhm.
different time zone. So I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know. I need friends. I need local friends that and I've because I quit drinking, so I don't have my bar friends anymore, and I don't have. So I think I am. I think I'm just lonely. I don't have
Oh,
another
honey,
group.
I still drink, but I don't have bar friends. I just drink at home.
Well, I know, but I don't do that either. But like Jacqui, if you hopped on Facebook and was like, "Who wants to chat?" you would have like 1,000 different consultants trying, like if you put your phone number out there, your phone would be blowing up all the time. All the
But
time.
I am so awkward, and I am so, even though I'm very like
Laid back.
social.
Yeah.
I'm social, but I'm still like, there's only like you and Waxy and Robin. Like, you guys know me, right? Like, I am who I am. And I think I pretty much translate that to wherever I am, wherever I'm posting. But at the same time, like, there's only certain people that I like actually feel comfortable around to be 100% myself.
Well, and I see that because when we go to SFR, and I mean, this is a little insight is that we have to talk each other up about
Yeah.
we're going to go meet. They're going to be consultants coming around. This
Yeah.
is like we even talk about what we're going to say
Yeah.
because none of us want to ever make anybody else feel awkward
Right.
when we don't. I mean, like, we're always surprised when they come up.
Mhm. Yes. Yes.
And so
Yes.
we have like, okay, so if someone comes up, this is, like especially with Waxy, oh my gosh, because she's like, I never know what to say. So we had this whole conversation on our
Mhm.
podcast before we even went to SFR. It's like, come up, say your name
Yeah.
and kind of where you know us from, of like what you've seen if you're watching our trainings or if you are in our groups or whatever. So that way it's kind of like we know
Yeah.
where like we could know you from because there's names I see, but
Yeah, because I'll recognize a name before I will like somebody face to face in front of me,
well,
because
and half of
I
them don't have their real faces. Those AI pictures are driving me nuts because I'm like, if you show up to your customers
yeah.
and you're looking like Princess Leia, but you're Jabba the Hutt, just I mean, like you got to understand that they're seeing this, like long hair. Like if I did it, it'd be this long haired, curly, red-headed girl, and then I show up and I got this really short haircut. They're gonna be like some
Okay,
chick.
can I just say, for Justin's sake, my husband's sake, he would be so proud if we just made a Star Wars reference. You did
I'm a huge
amazing in
Star
that.
Wars
Okay.
fan. So
All
you
right, I'm
tell
just
him.
gonna
You
say.
tell him. You show him like when you get this recording, you say, "Look, Cassie made a Star Wars reference on there." Because I could have said,
He's gonna be so proud.
Jara Binks or something like that, because
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah. He hates Jar Jar. Yeah, no, but
Yeah,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Jar Jar. I know most of it. But it's just that whole thing is that we're all awkward. And I think at the bottom line is that we're all at some point in our business will be lonely because if we do get to do this full time at home, you got to find things to do. And maybe that's where it boils down to is that, with you, it's getting that schedule back.
Mhm.
If we kind of just go over everything we've talked about is like having more of a set schedule for this and that. And you've kept with
Yeah.
most of it, but it is hard to give 100% of the time because we are human and we
Yeah.
have other things outside of Cincy. And for me, I need to start being more social with other people. And
Mhm.
I help different consultants. I get, on my YouTube channel, I do a daily, well, it was a daily. Now it's been like the last 3 weeks, I've only done 3 recordings.
That's great.
But I'm doing my journey. And the last couple of ones, I hate to say it, they've all been like, I'm blah. Like I'm really losing
Yeah.
my momentum, but I'm still like every time I get an order, I'm still responding back to customers. I
Right.
still do the follow up. I still do the Cincy Connect to be like, hey, whatever pops up on there, like, did it get delivered? Is it perfect? Is everything good?
Hmm.
So I'm not doing the things, but I do. I still need to work on that rack card, and I need to
Yeah.
send something out to my customers that are just more or less of, hey, it's not about
Well,
sales. It's just like it's fall. I mean, I have all the stuff. I found my soup recipe that I use for my baked potato. It's like loaded baked potato soup. It's so good and so easy because I don't use rolled potatoes. I use the hash browns now because it's faster
oh,
and you can even kind of like fry them up in a plate before you put them in there so they have a little bit of a texture to them.
really?
Oh, yeah, and it's like the cream, like, and I like making soup.
Okay.
We just never make enough. There's
Yeah.
always enough. There's like too much for one night, but then it's not enough for the second night, and it's like, it's only for one person, so we have to make something else.
The leftovers, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we eat so much. I'll have like 2, 3 helpings, and Blake will have 2 or 3 or 4 helpings, and then by the time we put it away, it's like there's only enough for maybe 2 more bowls, maybe 3, depending. It thickens up a little bit, so you always add a little bit of water just to kind of, like,
Yeah.
soften whatever, 'cause it all starts to harden. Not harden, but thicken, really thicken up
Yes.
after it's been not cold.
Yeah.
So, I know it's stuff I need to do, and, you know and tonight was just kinda one of those nights that none of us could figure out a topic we wanted to talk about.
I
Like
know. I know. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I know we'll get out of it. I know things will change. I know things pivot. And so I know it'll be fine. I'm not concerned with any of that.
and
But
none of us are going anywhere. It's not
no.
we when you go through these moments and
Mhm.
there is times and you're always gonna hit this part where we're like, I could just quit and be done with this. And I've had the thought,
Well,
but
and
I've
I do the
never
same thing with my day job. Let's take
Yeah.
sense out of the equation, right? Like I do the same thing. Like before I have to go to work, I'm like, I'll literally be sitting in the car and I'm like, you know what? I could just not go in.
I could just quit
Like
today. I mean, my husband says it all the time
I
before he
could
goes to
not
work.
go in.
It is not just about I sometimes I wanna quit my kids. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
can you call somebody else?"
Yeah.
And I love my girls,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's like, I would like a phone call that isn't about, "Hey, mom, can you? Will you?
Yeah.
Could you? Will you? Would you?" I mean,
And yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
like, for a while there, I was like, "I don't want anybody to ask me questions. Like, today is a day, there's no questions today. There's no questions.
That's
You
what I
can make
will tell Justin
statements."
after I've had a mentally exhausting day. He'll be like, "What's for dinner?" And I'm like, "I'm not taking questions right now.
Yeah, I'm not taking any
Sorry.
requests. You can make a statement that you
Figure it
are
out."
eating for lunch or that this is what you're making, that's great. Statements are accepted, but questions will be denied.
Yes.
Everything's a no.
Yeah. Because
Everything's
mentally, I'm just not there. I'm not.
yeah. So I'm kind of that's where I'm at. And I know it's not this feeling never lasts. It never lasts because I could get a huge order in tonight and all of a sudden I'm like energized of like, I gotta get moving. Or I
Mhm.
could get a really good text message about and I did. I did about 4 days ago, I got a text message and someone was like, "Hey, tell me about Cincy." And it's one of the girls I've known long time. And I was like, "Oh, we're fragrance." And I said, "I have everything to fragrance up your house or
Mhm.
cars or whatever." And she's like, "No, I'm talking about working it as a business." I was like, "Oh, hold on.
You're like, "Wait,
Hold on."
pump the
But now
brakes."
she's been busy. So, of course, she's like, "I'm driving. I'm taking my granddaughter back to West Texas. So that's like a drive." She's like, "I'll be back home in about a week." And I was like, "Cool. Here's all the information. Here's the link. Let me know what questions you have." And so it's kind of like now it's like that when you watch the clock,
Mhm.
the seconds don't move as fast as they do.
Yeah.
And so
But I will say those are the moments where, like, I'm in the car and I'm either driving from home or I'm driving to work or whatever, when I'm having those thoughts of, "I wanna do this," I can picture this lady, and I have no idea who this person is, but I can picture her in her car, and she's finally closed out all the other tabs in her brain,
yeah,
right? And she's driving to work or driving to the grandkid whatever, and she's driving, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, for me, I wanted to do that Scentsy thing."
yeah.
And right there in that moment, she was hot, she was ready,
And she
"I
sent
wanna
me that
talk about
voice
it, blah, blah,
text
blah,
because it
blah."
was kinda a little weird,
Yes.
and I was like, "Okay," and then
But
she's
she
like,
will come back around because that's honestly, like, that's where I am, and that's where I always probably have been in my business because unlike you, I did not jump out of the gate, right? Remember, I this was just, I kind of I like the community factor of it. I like fragrance, let's see what happens here. I suck at sales, but let's just give this a go. And so I didn't jump out all salesy and wanting to work it as a business and anything like that. And so for me, I can totally see from her perspective, like once your mind is clear, you're like, oh, that's something I want to do. Like I want to learn how to cross stitch or I
yeah.
want to learn how to blah, blah, blah. And I want to think about doing Scentsy on the side. So she will come back around.
Well, and she was one of my friends that when I was doing my other direct sales,
Hmm.
it was a jewelry business and she liked the bling. And so she did
Yeah.
it and then she did sign up with another company. Now I don't know
Hmm.
if she's still with them or if she's, what I'm saying, like
Hmm.
she doesn't post on anything. Like,
Right.
she's just been a really good friend for a long time. But
Mhm.
um, she was getting married the day after I was getting married. And
Oh,
so
wow.
it was, neither one of us could go to either other wedding because she couldn't go to, because it was more of a remote, like they were
Yeah.
going somewhere, so they were going to be gone. And then we were going to be on our honeymoon, and I was going to be like, hold on, babe, we got to go over here to someone else's wedding. It was, so we were just, kind of like two ships passing in the night, but
Yeah.
we've always kind of stayed in touch. And I think that's another thing, is that you can also look at it as if you don't ever have that conversation, nobody will ever start to think about it. And that's
Very
why I'm saying that anytime that anybody stops me, or that's like, I have to say it then, because I'll overthink it and I won't tell them about the opportunity later. So
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
kind of one of those whole spiels of like, yeah, I've been doing this, since 2020. I said, this is kind of like how I survived, and it's something that's real easy,
Yeah.
because you can do it as much as you want. If you're ever wanting to just get some side money, just let me know, because you could easily turn this into,
Mhm.
an income, or you could just purchase from me, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And I just leave it alone at that.
Yeah.
I mean, well, and I have other stuff going. I was up at the antique mall, and I changed out the light, or I had to change out the light bulb, because I went up there to go change out the wax, and the warmer got moved, and I guess they jostled it and it blew the light.
Oh.
So I spent about 45 minutes up there afterwards talking to one of the other ladies that doesn't own it, that works there, and she was like, "I didn't know they had cleaning stuff. I didn't know they had laundry."
Um,
Because I do the same. I mean, I hate to say it's like
yeah.
a spiel, but the more you know, and the more
Yeah.
you know about our business, it's real easy to it's just kind of like saying my name, like, hey,
Yeah. It rolls
my
off
name's
your tongue.
Cassie. It's kind of like, yeah, we have all different types of products for
Yeah.
anything scented in your house or your home. And it's,
Mhm.
cleaning, laundry, and your body. So
Mhm.
tell me what you need scented. I mean, that's kind of like my
Yeah.
thing after, if anybody asks me what I do, that's just kind of like that's something else that I've had to practice to
Yeah.
see what flows, because you don't want to be, well, we're um like we do I want to have something, just like, everybody. I don't know if everybody does. I practice whenever I'm meeting new people, what I'm going to say in my head.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
it's not something that I'm like, oh, I should probably talk about this, if it's something new that popped in my head, I'm not going to be able to say it, because it's going to come out of like, hi. Night. Oh no, I'm good. Fine, good. You, yeah, because then they'll say something, they'll throw me off, and now I don't know what I was going to say, because it's no longer something I practice. So,
Oh.
but yeah, I mean, so there's stuff going on, but well, and the girl bought 4 bars of wax of the scent of the month, because they love spooky but sweet has been
Um,
a hit. I guess maybe it's because I'm not getting the. I'm just not.
it's a little too strong for me because I'm not necessarily those are not my favorite scents. However, I will say
It's good. It's
it's good.
it's
Yeah, it is
good.
good. It is good. Like, it's one that I wouldn't go out of my way to, like, when I did my wax change today, like, I didn't go out of my way to be like, "Oh, I gotta warm that one tonight." Like, no, it wasn't that, but if it was warming, I'd be like, "Okay, I'm okay. I like this."
For me, I like it now. The new scent of the month. I hadn't even done my videos for my scent of the month
Oh,
or
I
the
was
whip
gonna
box.
say, how did yeah, because I haven't gotten mine yet. Do you like
Where
it?
did I put it?
Is it too spicy is my question.
Look, it's still in the bag. Hold on.
Because it's what, vanilla
Vanilla
chestnut?
chestnut. So
Yeah,
you like the woods, right?
yeah,
So this smells. This like definitely gives me like a Christmas vibe, because it's vanilla and woods.
yeah,
So this
yeah.
is almost like, one of the girls had said it smells almost like one of those places you go into during Christmas time, like a Hallmark, or like something that's not a
Mhm.
candle store, not like
Yeah,
Bath and Body Works kind of thing, but it's like you walk into somewhere and it has that kind of essence,
mhm.
that it's not a girly, like floral, fruity thing.
It's that
This is a
overall
this is
scent.
a very, I would say, a very earthy,
Mhm.
with the vanilla, but has like that hint of, it's not cinnamon, it's spice, like vanilla spice. It could easily be a man's cologne or
Yes,
aftershave type thing.
yes.
This is, I think, you would love it. I honestly think that this is more in your wheelhouse because it is more the woodsy, and I like it because of the vanilla.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It's a little heavy for me. Like it's like when I say heavy, like more not musky, but more the heavier scent.
Are you okay?
I don't know what to do with myself on a podcast when my other co-host. So let me just go through this. So this is vanilla chestnut. So this is the scent of the month. I do subscribe to it. Um, it is. I'm a bakery fruity. I do like the spices during Christmas time and this fall season. But if you're looking for, like, especially when your customers are looking for something that's not so, I hate to say girly, but not so fruity, this is definitely one to do. And that's I don't know what to say to fill the time because we're not really talking about a topic. What else? So yeah, so I'm having a little bit of the emptiness syndrome. And maybe I can understand why it's a syndrome. I probably should, me over analyzing myself. I probably should look up some of the symptoms of what I should do. So if you guys are listening on this podcast or you're watching this on YouTube, what do you do when you hit that empty nest? Like, I need the empty nester. So, oh, look, see, she's back. It's hard to have a
Sorry.
podcast with one person and not know, like, I didn't know what I was going to
Yeah.
fill the time for.
Yeah, we had a little accident in the kitchen. Madison slipped in the kitchen. So
Oh, is she okay?
yeah, she hurt her knee, but she's okay.
Oh, well, it's a good thing she has a nurse in the house.
Yeah.
Do we need to bandage
Okay.
her up? Do we need to do a how-to
No,
bandage?
no, she's eating cookies now, so it's fine. It's
Okay. Oh, yeah.
We're gonna live.
everything-
It's
Yeah,
okay.
cookies make everything better.
Yeah. We won't have to do surgery quite yet, but we're thinking about
Oh,
it.
could we do surgery in one of the videos where you just like cut someone open and we'll just be like, this is what you don't do and do.
No, but I do know enough surgeons that we can do that. I just won't do the cutting.
Because see, I tried to do surgery on myself, which was an accident. Yeah.
Oh
It
my
was
goodness.
Blake got new knives because I had given Amber some of our kitchen knives
Uh-huh.
because we weren't using them because I have a whole knife block. And he
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get some new knives because we'd only have like one pairing and one. So he got like a whole set. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I went to go clean it because he's like, these do not go in the dishwasher. And I was like, then
Oh no,
what
yeah,
about
we don't
now?
put knives in our dishwasher. Justin's very adamant about that. No, we don't.
Okay. Well, when I clean them and they're ultra sharp, and I go and I got my scrub daddy on there and I'm cleaning it, and I go to the back side and I was trying to wrap the cushion thing across so I could get the blade. Because of course, what did I just cook and cut? Chicken. And so I was rinsing everything off and then I cut myself and I was like, I'm gonna get salmonella. So I ran and I did soap and then I did peroxide and then I was like, am I supposed to do peroxide? Is it alcohol? I don't remember. How do I not die? So like if my thumb starts to swell or whatever, but it's a really good clean cut. I mean, it is literally a
It
straight
doesn't
line.
look red. I think you're fine.
Well, I cleaned it right away and I
Yeah, you
bandaged
did
it up.
well. Yes.
It bled, but it wasn't deep bleed. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was like Blake's come home from work at the depot and
Mm-hmm.
has cut himself, and it was deep that I had to get out the liquid band-aid because I'm like, you need
Oh, yeah.
stitches, and he's like, I'm not if I can't duck it.
No, super glue it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. So, but yeah, tried to
Okay.
cut my finger off to see if I could just work without a thumb. I mean, I don't know. Don't do this at home. Do not do this.
Careful.
This has all been done by actors, and this was
Yeah.
not something that you do at home at all. I
No,
don't know what the
do
disclaimer
not
is.
attempt this.
Do not attempt
We are
this. We are
professionals.
all professionals. Yeah. So
Oh,
okay, well, it's kind of been one of those nights, and I don't, I don't think we're gonna do an after hours because I feel like this was kind of our after hours.
this kind of was an after hours. Yeah, I
So
agree.
like
I agree.
I guess I could kind of do my like we'll just kind of close this out of,
Okay.
this is guys, this is who knows best. Tonight was a unformatted, off the cuff,
Very.
just kind of a chit chat amongst friends or friend. I guess I can't really friend. There's two of us
Mhm.
here, so we are friends.
Friends.
But guys, I am Cassie Bollinger,
Hi, I'm Jacqui Duran.
And we are part of Who Knows Best. We come on here weekly to talk about different topics, trainings. We kind of show you guys what is really behind the scenes of what our business goes through. And right now, you might be in the same block. And you know what? We want to hear about it because maybe between all of us, we could kind of figure out how Jacqui and I can find our cups, how we can help you keep yours from cracking or being lost, and how to refill it. Because at some point, you're going to hit this in your business, because this is part of our life. This is part of our journey. And it's only been slow for like a couple weeks, and it's not life. It's not life. So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you are listening to it at. At any time, you can drop comments on here. You can send us messages if you have any questions. If you would like to spot or be a spotlight guest on our podcast, please let one of us know. We have Lisa Hatfield. We have Lisa, yeah, Robin Hatfield, Lisa WaxyCat, Sanderson. We have Jacqui Duran and Cassie Bollinger. Find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, any of the places, or on whatever podcast you're listening to. Reach out to us, and we'd love to have you guys on. I think we want to kind of start adding this in at least once a month, if not more. We might do every other week. It might get to the point where we always have a different guest every week. We don't know yet. We're just gonna play it by ear. So if you haven't been told today, we love you. You are very loved. You are very strong. You are very important. You are worthy of this business. And you just got to keep going. We will see you guys next week.